Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to Peter, who I met in Paris SVG this time last year, and I'm sure many of you were there as well. So 12 months on, the establishment of SPL Media House has been Peter's work, and I'm very keen to hear more about it. But first question, which I know that Dennis is keen to know, is can you run as fast as Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, but as fast as Jorginho, I think.
You can. Okay, well, that's good. I'm pleased we've established that. So Peter, really just keen to hear how your experience of the last 12 months has been, the establishment of a new entity. From when we saw you last year, you were bringing in hundreds of new staff. We all sat here thought there's no way he's going to pull it off. Perhaps you can tell us how it's been.
We didn't, but it's still coming. There was a small move between, at that time we were a Saudi sports company, broadcaster. And in June we moved with a big part of the team into the Saudi Pro League, and we established the Saudi Pro League Media House. The main reason was because of that one player that arrived in January 2023. And with that came the first time that people started looking at the Saudi League in Saudi Arabia. And then it got a boom with the acquisition of a few other players. What meant that exposure became very high, and we had to do something both on the broadcast part, distribution, and also on the social media. And this is where a key part from the media house is lying for us.
So that meant you had to create a new entity that wasn't going to be feasible under Saudi Sports Corporation?
Saudi Sports Company moved away from the Ministry of Sports and became an entity that is owned by NBC as a Saudi broadcaster and a public investment fund. So they couldn't be that vehicle to do the leagues part, where the league is the owner of the content and not the rights holder.
Okay, well, thank you. Very clear. And you had to make a lot of very quick decisions over a lot of quick technology choices to rapidly scale up for all these new players coming in and the new levels of interest. There wasn't a lot of time to shop around. You had to be very decisive and
I think my contract was signed the 1st of August. I think the league started on the 11th of August. I started traveling on the 31st of June to UK. And yes, we established in a few weeks' time a partnership with IMG that is doing the distribution and the rights management for our international broadcasters. Also making a special program for 3 games per round where they do an additional English commentary, English graphics, and highlights. And then we had 7 leagues that supported us in starting up an international social media, because we were only focusing on the Middle East till then. And beside that, we needed some platforms to distribute content to our broadcasters. That's where you guys came in. Yep. Then we have Greenfly running as an AI tool specifically to clubs and players, and we have WSC as a clipping tool also based on AI to make sure that you get content in your platform and that we can also publish to social media. And underneath there is I call it the big mama, and that's for the moment, sorry, the previous panel, but it's GVM, Grass Valley, that is for a big part used for the distribution of signals.
So, and we were delighted, and it was really exciting to have a rush order of that magnitude, but to have to get a system built in very quick order was a nice challenge to have. Perhaps to expand a little bit more on, I'm interested in the use of Greenfly and WSC, these other technologies as well, really about the production of social content, content that's close to the athlete for their social media profile. Perhaps you could give us a bit more color on that.
Yeah, so first of all, the fast implementation of the platforms was a bit easy for us. We had nothing. So we had no legacies to pull with us. We could do whatever we wanted as long as we could provide the needed. Where it became for us important was to deliver very fast, and this is where WSC came in, to deliver very fast, accurate highlights and short clips we have a problem for the moment with the rights management, the rights cycle. So we can't publish anything as a leak, any pictures during the game, any ball positions during the game. So we had to work around that with other types of clips and other types of content we had to give. Besides that, we wanted to give our players much more content to publish on their social media, and them also giving content back to us that we could then give back in our social media or give back to the clubs. This is where Greenfly came in. And then we had this arch above, what is Imagen, what is fed by both of them, to make sure that also our international broadcasters can use all that content that we create.
Yeah, it seemed to be a theme of the morning, was about social media ready content, closer access to the players themselves, and you're going as far as players creating their own player generated content, so selfies, short video clips, what they do with their family, what they did with other players. This goes back into Greenfly, and Greenfly will then put it, based on an AI solution, back into the right folders where it needs to be, and we'll push it also to Imagen if it's content that we see that should be used by the international broadcasters. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a really interesting area for us at the moment. We're seeing across not just football but other sports as well, the mix of content that's coming into the platforms that we run is very different from what we were seeing even a year ago or 2 years ago. There is a lot more of this sort of social ready, athlete generated content, so it's a very interesting area. And I'm intrigued personally about how the rights of all that will work. It seems in your instance that that's all, you have the right to distribute that to the broadcasters, but I know there's lots of grey areas in this space at the moment.
Well, we 1 more year in the old rights cycle, so we have 1 more year to prepare ourselves for the new one, and where we want to divide the digital much more and the use of content on so many different platforms and so many different types of content. And again, there, the technology comes in that we want to create more content, more personalized content towards regions. Portuguese in Portugal is not the same Portuguese as in Brazil. Spanish is the same thing. So we need to make sure that either we make it ourselves or we give our broadcasters tools that they can make it easily on their own, that are almost ready-made and they only need to put something on top.
Just changing tack a little bit, but perhaps just speak just a minute to the inclusion of the WPL in the services that you're providing as well, because it's not just the men's game. The WPL is very well supported within the kingdom, I believe.
But there was 1 phone call, like, we go on air in 2 weeks. What can we do?
2 weeks. It was 11 days.
It was a very short time. So we had to find a way that we could make a deal with DAZN. They were very interested. We wanted to do it cloud-based, but one of our suppliers was not ready. So we had to go with the traditional solution, what was an OB truck. No SNG anymore, it's cell-bound. But then also we had the advantage of having all these platforms already running, and just add another layer for the women's league, and almost immediately we could give them everything they wanted. They want more than the men's league. These ladies know very well what they want to do and where they want to go, and they got a lot of attention from the leadership. So we need to make sure they are well taken care of.
Yeah, well, it's great to see the kingdom supporting the women's game, of course, but you're not planning to stop there. I know this is sort of media house. Could be all types of different things. It doesn't need to just be football. So the Saudi Pro League was till now only the main league. Then the Women's League is coming from next season, officially under the Saudi Pro League. Then the second league, what is also professional league, will come under it, and the Reserve League also. That means about 1,000 games that we need to cover on whatever level and need to distribute on whatever platform. But we also are involved in the bigger picture of the sports strategy of the kingdom. And that means, I think, 98 federations that we need to serve in one way or the other over time. Their priorities, but everybody wants to have his attention. And the main goal is to enable people to come back to sports and be more involved in sports. Well, Peter, you can probably see from the red numbers dropping away on the screen there. I think that's, sadly, our time is up. But thank you very much, and congratulations on what you've managed to do. Thanks for letting us be a part of it. and I'm sure the next 12 months will be equally exciting. But,
I'm sure.
Please join me in thanking Peter for sharing his wisdom.
Thank you very much.